I'm here together with John Mell from IBM at the IBM Business Connect in Mannheim. John, you are the Smarter Workforce Leader of Europe, and you were just talking about the pathway from liking to leadership. What have you been talking about at this talk?
Well, I think the main message was how organizations are now really looking at business problems that they're trying to solve using social, rather than just using it for the sake of it or having a great blog or a great wiki. They're actually identifying real business problems they're trying to solve and then looking at the impact talent has. So how do you attract the right people? How do you engage the right people? How do you provide them with next generation social tools so they're able to really fulfill their potential and solve those problems in the most cost-effective way and as quickly as possible?
So your call is, your demand is the call out on connecting the business side to social. Is that right?
Well, yeah, I think it's a mistake almost to separate them out. I think that businesses now fundamentally are social, and it's one of the key ways that organizations are going to compete is to what degree are you actually linking people together and taking advantage of the networks that we can create between people, whether that's networks that help you recruit the right talent or networks that help you find expertise within an organization to get the job done. And to separate business from social doesn't make much sense. Business now fundamentally is social. All businesses are people coming together and working together, and we need to provide them with the right tools and techniques to be able to take best advantage of that.
But in this case, the business side is the leader of the social project. Is that right?
I don't understand that. Sorry.
Yeah. Again, from this context, the business leader is the leader of the social project. Is that right?
Yes, but I don't necessarily think they'd see themselves as the leader of a social project. I think they'd see themselves as someone who is finding innovative ways to solve business problems, whether that's a sales director finding ways for his sales reps to be more effective and close more deals in a quarter, whether it's a pharmaceutical leader who is in product development, who is driving products to market more quickly, or if it's a customer service director who is increasing customer satisfaction with how the call center is handled by providing the people working there with the appropriate tools. So I don't think they would almost necessarily see themselves as social. They would see them as business leaders getting a job done.
What is the role of HR in this game?
Well, I think HR is really important in the sense that everything that we're doing here is about maximizing the potential of people working together. And HR obviously has a key role to play in ensuring the right people are in the organization, they get the right professional training and development. But I think a lot of that in the past, frankly, has been guesswork to some degree. And what we're able to do now is really bring big data, bring analytics, bring scientific insight to really help them predict who will be the best person for which particular job and what tools do they need in order to be effective in doing that job.
Is HR in general already taking up this job role?
Well, I think they are in some key areas. So we see really visionary HR directors really starting to become more strategic and becoming revenue drivers by providing key parts of the business with solving problems that lead directly to revenue generation. So they're not necessarily just a cost center anymore, but they are really making sure that if you put the right people in the right roles, it has a disproportionate impact on the success of the business.
So it's not anymore about driving the social adoption, but driving the solution for a business problem by enabling and by providing a social tool?
Well, yeah, I mean, adoption for its own sake was never the goal. Okay, so adoption is always something that you need in order to make the tools and the technologies we put in place more efficient. But I think now we're going one step further. We're actually looking at key business problems, and then adoption doesn't necessarily come into it because you're working together to solve a business problem. You're not thinking about how do I drive usage of a technology product, you're thinking about how do I solve a business problem. And when you start thinking of it in that way, adoption it kind of fades away as an issue. But I don't think adoption was ever the goal. The goal was always to improve business outcomes, and adoption was a step in that direction. But now I think we're really focusing on solving that business problem in its own right.
What are your further visions on the evolution of social?
Well, I think it's going to become more and more embedded into the business. Like you said earlier, I think we're going to see a blurring of the lines between someone who is a social person and someone who is a business person. I just don't think that distinction is going to run true anymore. I think we're going to see social embedded more and more and more into everyday processes, so it becomes the new normal. And I think we're going to start to see a huge amount of input come in from analytics and from talent management in terms of making sure we have the right people in the right roles using these tools.
Great. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you very much.